Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I'm joined tonight by Trevor and Andrew. Unfortunately, Dan has got man flu, so he is called off late. We are going to talk about a lot of football this week. The Northern Derby, the Villa game, and looking ahead to the Champions League, returning back to the Emirates Stadium this week. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Hello, boys. How are you? Hope you're well. I know you are both feeling a little bit under the weather. You've got man flu and bugs, and it's kept Dan away. Andrew, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. Apart from the this dreaded man flu, which has it's got me, but it's obviously not being ginger. I'm all right because I'm still here, so we're all safe.
Yeah, indeed. And Trev, you were unwell. You couldn't make it down for Sunday because it really got hold of you after Wednesday night and probably maybe Thursday morning. Did that have an influence on it?
No, never in a million years did it ever have an influence on it, Fergus. I'm just poorly. But I'm not like Andrew. I'm not whinging and I'm not moaning. I'm just going to struggle on and get going.
I've got my Lemsit. I'm going to power through.
So, Fergus, I've got something to say, but I just want to let the viewers build a little bit before I do, mate. So if there's anything you want to go with now, mate, come back to me in a couple of minutes.
No, not really. I suppose there's a couple of things we could talk about. We could talk about before the Northern Derby. They had what your views were on the T-shirts or the shirts with "Stay Strong" for Gabby on the back of his shirts. What did you think of that, Andrew? I know there was a load of people bitching and moaning on social media and on the mainstream media channels.
Why? I mean, he's one of our players. He's got a nasty injury. I feel really sorry for him, if I'm honest. He's come back into a rich vein of form after he's been sat on the bench and not performing very well. He was the key. We're thinking, we've got a goal scorer again, and then all of a sudden he goes and does that really nasty injury, and I'm really gutted for him, and I think it's a great touch for them to come out and support him. It's not nice, is it? I mean, he's going to be feeling it as well. I think it's a great touch from the club.
Trevor, what was your thoughts on it?
Well, much like Andrew, really. I was a little bit embarrassed that people felt the need to even mention it. It's been going on for many, many years. Players are part of a family within a club, and if one of their family gets hurt badly or is injured in any way, then they like to show their respect. It's been done hundreds of times, thousands of times before, and Arsenal did it. What's the problem? Maybe they were short of a news story or something, Ferg, but anyway, it was enough for me.
As we know, a lot of people use Arsenal for clicks and to gain support, and news channels need clicks, influencers need clicks. But what was good, and before we go into the games of football, following on from Dan and our discussion from last week, where Havertz and his wife got threatened, Declan Rice responded by saying there is a social media perspective of what people think, and then when you come to the stadium, you can see what the real fans are. The two completely different types of fans. I know, Trevor, you felt really passionate about this, and Dan did as well. I thought it was a great comment and a very well articulated comment made by Declan in his news conference after the Tottenham game.
Yeah, I've got to be careful what I'll say here, but firstly, Fergus, if I'm honest, I want to apologise to you and to the rest of the people on this podcast because I let some comments that were made get to me, and I reacted wrongly outside the ground at last week's North London derby. Havertz getting all that abuse online and his family threatened online last week, I thought was a step too far. and mixed with a few beers, I came out the ground and looked for the people that I thought, I'm not saying they had, that I thought had started those comments going. And I said my piece, and yeah, I still think the same way, but there's other ways of doing it. So I apologise to anyone that saw me. I apologise to you, Fergus, for bringing our great podcast into disrepute, because that's not us, is it? We're not like that, mate.
I don't think you've got anything to apologise for. Fans can sing players' names anytime they want, wherever they want, as long as you're respectful, not rude or violent towards anybody. I don't think there's an issue. One final thing before you have your say, Trevor. Shithousery at its epic level the day before the podcast. Sol Campbell came out with a new Google Pixel, and we're not getting an advert, any money for this, for saying Google Pixel, but Sol Campbell came out with an absolutely classic shithousery advert. Andrew, what did you make of it?
That's great. I literally sent that on to so many Tottenham, people I know straight away, and I just, there you go, look, and I sent with a good old song. It's all come, but it's won the double, and I just thought, you know what a way to get it done. My God, did I have to turn off WhatsApp for a few hours after that? But perfect. I thought it was great.
Trevor, you'll know one of some of my mates over there at the local pub. When it came out, I showed the guy that we've met for a beer a couple of times, big fella. I send him a message every Friday about how many days and years and weeks it has been since Spurs won a trophy, and he was watching it, and all he went, Judas, and I won't say the other word, and then he went, "That's absolutely classic. That is brilliant." It was good, clever stuff, wasn't it?
It was. He's not done himself any favours, though, is he? Because them Tottenham fans. Sol Campbell's not their favourite person on the planet, is he? And for him to keep going at it with that advert, it was a quality advert, but I'll tell you what, he's got some balls, that lad. He really has got some balls. Ferg, we've just let the viewers build a little bit now, mate. So if you don't mind, I'll go now, yeah? Everyone watching, I was going to say this at the start of the show, but I just wanted to let the viewers build a bit. A few weeks ago, we mentioned on this podcast that a massive Arsenal fan called Anthony Riley had sadly passed away at a very young age of 41. No age at all. So sad. It was his funeral today, and all of us here at Guns and Yellow Ribbons would like to express our sincere condolences to Anthony's family and friends. We hope the day went as well as it possibly could under the circumstances, of course, and our thoughts and prayers are with you all. Rest in peace, Anthony, a true gunner. God bless.
Thank you, Trev. Thank you. I'm sure his family will be having a good time paying their respects to him, and we have done so as well. I suppose that leads us on to, let's talk about football. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about Arsenal versus Spurs. It was Wednesday night under the lights, a really strange kickoff to have 8 o'clock. North London derby, because everyone was well bearded up beforehand. It just seems like it's for TV, and it just shows that the police and nobody have any say in whenever anything happens. It's all about TV. I must apologise, actually, since you talked about apologies. I must apologise to our viewers. I had so many people come up to me on ahead of the Villa game, going, "What did you do to us? We had no post North London derby podcast. We had no preview podcast." Apologies, life gets in the way. We do this for fun, and it was good. Yeah. But it was a fantastic atmosphere. Trev, you came down, and we all met up early in the pub. I obviously only got there 5:15 when myself and Andrew finished work.
Yeah, I got there a little bit earlier than that, as it probably showed during the course of the game. After the game, the clothes were off, and I was prancing around topless, screaming and shouting my head off. But that's what happens when you have North London derbies, and when you have them at 8 o'clock in the evening after you've had a skinful of beer. It was always going to be the case. I thought that it actually, from my perspective, it worked. The atmosphere was raucous. raucous. I was so proud of the Arsenal fans. I mean, I know we're at the other end of the ground, but I never heard the Tottenham fans all night. I honestly didn't. The Arsenal fans just didn't stop making noise. And I know for a fact that lifts the team. And it's what us match-going Arsenal fans needs to do, regardless of situations, Ferg.
Absolutely. The only time I heard them was when they scored the goal, but even then they couldn't believe it. There was such a delay from them. They were like, "Oh Jesus, what's happened? We scored!" And yeah. Let's look at the lineups for that game, because we had no Saka because he was injured. Sterling started out in that berth, and Timber was right back. So we had Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly. Wow, what a player! Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Sterling, Trossard and Havertz. Andrew, what did you make of the lineup? Were you happy with the lineup? How did you feel that we came out? And how did you feel about Sterling starting?
I was quite happy with Sterling starting. I think after what he did the other night, I think he deserved to go. And I think he did all right. He he picked the ball up, he ran. I mean, you've still got the people around us that just for some reason just don't like him and will just boo him. Which I was really narking me at one point, but I thought he did all right. He got put on to do a job. We know we need cover in that area. Is he probably the best that we can put there? We can go and get, probably not, but fair play to him. He put a shift in.
Trev, what did you make of the lineup? And probably Timber at right back and Sterling and up on top on the right side of the wing. What did you make of it?
I think that I when I saw that team sheet, I immediately looked at the bigger picture, Ferg, and I thought, he's putting out the strongest side he possibly can again, which he's done all season, in fairness to Arteta. He really has. I think, apart from the very early rounds of the Carabao, he's given us the best team he could possibly put out under the circumstances. So I wasn't worried about Sterling. I thought Sterling had a half-decent game, actually. I don't think he's quite up to the standard we require, but he's what we've got, so we've got to use him. But you mentioned him, Ferg, and I'm going to come back at you with him, right? Because you can talk about him. An 18-year-old playing in his first North London derby, under pressure, right? Coming up against a player, Kulusevski, who's probably Tottenham's best player, and he shithouses him off the pitch. Ferg, I thought it was amazing, mate.
He was out. He's outstanding every game. He's 18. I know we've talked about, is he like an Ashley Cole Mark II sort of thing, but he's just a stunning player. But the thing, I was going to come on to Skelly at some point when we're talking about it in like the general talking points. But ahead of a North London derby, okay, Declan Rice is an English player. He'll understand what a derby's all about. But Declan Rice is a Chelsea fan. He's been at West Ham. Okay, he's been at Arsenal for a season and a half. Lewis Skelly, Saka, even Eddie Nketiah when he was with us and so on, they would understand what it is to be an Arsenal fan, to an Arsenal player. Through that, I think that was really, really important, Trev. Don't you think that this player understood what it means on and off the pitch? We saw in the documentary Stuart MacFarlane doing his speech beforehand, and again, just trying to convey what it means to us in the stands.
Look, right, I know it's only 2 games a season, the North London derby, right? But you either get it or you don't, right? And I'm not saying the people that don't get it are bad people or not Arsenal fans. There may be people that just weren't raised in the area or that don't come to the games and experience the tension, the build-up, what we all go through, the nervousness, the 7 visits to the loo on the day of the game because you're nervous as hell, It's a very special game of football. And I honestly think that towards the back end of Wenger, we were losing these games to Tottenham because I honestly think we had some players there that didn't get what it meant, right? Under Arteta, that has certainly changed. The fact that Stuart MacFarlane's clip is still shown now, a few years later, just shows you the importance of the stuff that Arteta does to drill into this team of Arsenal players, just how important that fixture is, right? And it shows. It shows. I thought we were we have been all right in every game. So, the last few weeks, we've not got our results, but I thought we were superb against Tottenham. I really did. When you look at the players we have out, when you look at our lack of a striker, when you look at who we bought in, when you look at, we went 1-0 down and heads didn't drop. It was a fantastic performance. I was over the moon with how we played and the result we got.
Andrew, like, we came out with an awful lot of fire and intensity, and Spurs really couldn't match us. And it went against the run of play when Son broke forward and the ball broke to him. And on 20 minutes, he took the lead by a somewhat deflected shot. I think if he had just took the shot itself, I think Raya had it covered. But the team remained calm and focused. And also the fans took a deep breath. And then they got behind the team again and pushed the team on more and more. What was your thoughts about that?
Tell you what, to give you passion of a North London derby, what it means to people. I'll tell you, when I gave Theo his ticket on the way to the train station and told him he was going to the North London derby, oh my God, he screamed the card out. He was absolutely ecstatic. I've never seen him get changed so quick and get. We had like 10 minutes to get on the train and we did it. But you know, all the way down on the train, it was, are we there yet? I know, and he just loved it. He loved every minute of it, and it was great as me to watch it because of just that passion of that game. But go back to your point with it is, I think we're still sat right behind the goal, stood right behind the goal, and the minute the ball goes in the air, you can see what he's going to do. He's eyeing it up for the shot. And I said to you into half time, I said he scuffed it. He absolutely scuffed it, and that's hence why it's beat Raya. But actually, when you go back and watch the replay, it comes off Partey, I think, doesn't it? He jumps in front of the ball. I think if Partey doesn't jump in the ball, I think Saliba gets it or Ray gets it, and it's no goal. So, you know, they can take their lucky first goal and stuff. But you know what? The reaction from the players, wow. You know, we went to kick off, and the speed we moved that ball around again. We just went, oh, you scored. So what? We're going to go score now. And we did. And the atmosphere in the stadium was unreal. I mean, that is probably one of the loudest I've heard it this season. But not for a while. It was just electric.
40 minutes in, and we fought back with an equaliser that really boils the piss of North 17. An equaliser that came from a corner and a set piece, a corner that they keep on going on moaning about even the next day, when in reality Arsenal fans could have been moaning about we didn't have 6 goals or 7 goals put past them, because we definitely control the game well enough to do that. Trevor, how good is it when they have to suck it up and VAR can't get involved in that? It just makes it even sweeter, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, wonderful. I mean, there's 2 sets of fans that always give us a hard time if we moan about a decision not going our way. That's Tottenham and Liverpool. They're always at it, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to give Tottenham fans, I'm going to admit that it wasn't a corner. I'm going to hold my hands up and be a better person than them and admit that it wasn't a corner. But what I'm also going to do is say, tough cookie. I'm going to show you the same amount of sympathy as you show us. Absolutely zero. What goes around comes around. Suck it up. 1-0 up.
Andrew, one, the shithousery of it, but 2, the passion that Gabriel showed once he thought he had got the equaliser, but we know that it came off Solanke's chest, so an own goal made it probably even a little bit sweeter as well. It was nuts in there, wasn't it? It was absolutely nuts.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. I think, you know, again, I nearly lost Theo over the barrier because he was leaning that far forward to do, and everyone was just surging forward, and everyone was like hugging everybody, which I'm certain this is where this came from. But it was just absolutely crazy. What a great atmosphere, and it was just kind of, you could just see the run that he made, the arcing run he makes to the back post, and you're like, he's going to, you know, and you just said the next thing you know, you see the net bulge. Yeah, man, that reaction was just, and it's just what we needed. It really was, because it just shut them up straight away. And it's, you know, even.
So this is an interesting thing. I saw my brother yesterday. He's a Man United fan, and because he lives, he lives around the corner from the stadium. He does come to quite a few games, and
like most
he just enjoys. What's that?
Like most of them.
Yeah, like most of them. He should really be a season ticket holder. I think he would consider being a season ticket holder if he's honest, because he likes watching football. I have no issue with that to a certain degree. But what he did say, he was looking at the set pieces, in particular the corners, and what he observed. And I'm going to look out for the next time, and you guys might want to as well. Like we've seen where, like, Martinelli comes up to Rice and they say a code, and then it gets passed around a horseshoe. I think we've spotted as well. David Raya actually gives an indication of where the ball is going. If he's on the left-hand side of, say it's coming in from the left, if he's on the left-hand side of his box, then it's going near post. If he goes on the right-hand side, it's going far post. If he's inside the box, it's going out. It's further out in the box. And if he's right up on the edge of the D, it's literally going in deep. So I'd not noticed that. You had, Andrew.
Yeah, I called this a few weeks ago, and I was talking about that as I'm watching Ray go over to Arteta, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, what's he doing? And he comes back and he stands in a different position. And all of a sudden, you just see Odegaard turn around and Rice looks, and then all of a sudden Ray moves, and I'm like, for about 2 weeks, and I'm watching him when he stands. You're exactly right. Where he stands in certain positions is where that ball goes. I mean, that's just genius, isn't it? I mean, who's going to? Well, probably everyone's going to figure out now we've called it.
It's not so genius now you've told everyone, is it?
Hey, do you know what though? They'll come up with something new, won't they? It's look at the amount of times we've changed that set piece this year.
Trevor, if we can figure it out, I'm sure any half decent Premier League coach will have figured it out.
I'm sure Pep's got it sussed.
Trevor, 44 minutes in. The second goal came partly dispossessing. I can't remember who it was in the midfield for Spurs. No, I don't know who he dispossessed, but he got the ball off the Spurs player, passed it to Odegaard, and Odegaard put a beautiful ball into Trossard. Trossard had a fantastic game, a couple of assists in that he was involved continuously throughout the game. What did you make of his goal? And also, what did you make of the Spurs keeper that I heard them screaming about how wonderful he was because he, they beat who was it? Who was it? Not Tranmere. Who was it? Tamworth.
Oh yeah, Tamworth.
Yeah. Trev, what?
To be honest, Trossard's been playing at the top of his form. I think the last few weeks he really has been playing on top of his form. Maybe it's the responsibility of having to start more games and play more games because we're full of injuries. I don't know, but I'm proud of Trossard. I honestly didn't see the mistake that the goalkeeper made for the ball to pass him. I was too busy bouncing around, getting black and blue by everybody knocking into me. An equaliser against Tottenham is great. 2 goals in 4 minutes against Tottenham, that takes some beating. The only thing that beats it is a last-minute winner against Tottenham. Yeah, so I can't remember a lot about the goal, to be honest. And I've watched it back, Ferg, but I've been poorly, and that's my excuse, mate. But what I will say is Trossard has been very, very impressive recently.
The only thing I'm going to say about that, and I know we're going to jump into this later on, but that to me was the pure reason why Thomas Partey should be in the centre midfield. The way he broke that play up and played the ball across to Trossard, and he's in so much space, and you can just see him looking all the time, and he's hit it with so much power. All I can remember is just Trossard, the ball. That's it, the ball at the back of the net, and the rest of it's just a blur. What a goal! What a goal!
About 60, 70 minutes in, Lewis Skelly, who we touched on earlier, got subbed off. When we scored that first goal, Lewis Skelly and Declan Rice and the others went to the Tottenham fans to just hush him down. But what was absolutely brilliant when Skelly came off the pitch, he got a yellow card because he was trying to take the long way, and then there was a bit of a scuffle, and the Tottenham players were losing their crap over it. But he went round and he just loved the crowd. Did you see Ian? I haven't got it here, but did you see the interview he did, Trevor, with Ian Wright afterwards? And he just went, "I felt $1 million." This is where I said he understands that. That was it. He's dreamt all his life about playing that game.
Yeah, we've gone right back to where we started this conversation, and rightfully so. He was just over the moon. He got it from start to finish. I can't believe he got booking because he only took one step the wrong direction. I tell you what got him the booking. Richarlison, the pigeon-faced twat, steaming in and trying to push him off the field like he always does. That's what got Lewis Skelly the booking. And the fact that Lewis Skelly didn't get angry, just turned around and laughed at him, was absolutely superb work from the young lad. We have got a classic footballer in the making. He's already a brilliant footballer at 18. What more have we got to come? Could be the best left back, best left-sided midfielder even that this club's ever had. Putting pressure on him there. But after seeing him against Tottenham, we know he can handle all the pressure, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. When you watch that tackle as well, and I think it's Saliba or Gabriel comes over to get the ball, and he goes, no, I've got it. And then he's turned and he's gone. And you just think, wow. It's just sort of the way that he got us up the field, which is what we need, and I think that's exactly what we missed on against Villa. But yeah, I mean, what a game! I'm just in awe of him. Absolutely superb.
It was this tackle as well, where he just like rode the guy up his back and everything else. It was just no fear, and that's the great thing. I just hope he doesn't learn to get fear over the years, because sometimes people get good and then they learn to lose that, that naivety, youth, and enthusiasm, and they get wiser and, like us, bitter and twisted. We had a great photograph after the game. Smiles all round. Alex was over from Copenhagen for the game. There's Dan. There was yourself, Andrew. There's Trevor and Theo in the background. But what I was really impressed with was the.
Oh dear, I can't remember that photo.
You can't remember that photo?
No.
That was just after you took your top off.
Oh my lordy.
Because you came along like this, and then Frimmy was down the front, and he's pointing up laughing because you got your tats out, and he's got his
picture on. He's not dressed yet. Look, he's still got his jumper around his neck. He's not put it down yet. Still in mid-dress.
I know.
Yeah. He's hardly dressed. What about the fly past, guys? What about the fly past? Do you remember the fly past?
No. What are you talking
No,
about?
you're getting very both of you very drunk. This one, look, I got it on video.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it. Just confirming, London is definitely red. All of London is red, not just North London. Thank you, Emirates Airlines for doing that for us. That was absolutely brilliant.
Did they actually do that? That's quality. I thought one of us had done it. Brilliant, love it.
Right, okay, let him believe that, Trevor. Let him believe that.
You're not getting. Oh, you've got me there, haven't you? Oh.
We had 14 shots on target, 4 on goal. Spurs had 10 shots on goal. I don't remember those, and 2 on target. But yeah, on to Sunday. Injury ravaged Arsenal. It was Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa, much improved side than as they have been under Unai Emery, who's getting really the best out of them. Lineup-wise, we had the following lineup, Trevor. Raya Partey, Timber, Gabriel, Lewis Kelly again, Rice, Moreno, Odegaard, Martinelli, Trossard and Havertz. There was no Saliba. He was injured, a hamstring problem. He was holding his hamstring at the end of the Spurs game. Timber at centre-back for that reason, and gave us no choice whatsoever but to play Thomas Partey at right-back. And there has been some stats going around that, he's played 6 games at right-back. We've only won 1. But we had no choice, did we, Trev? There was no other options.
No. I get a little bit upset with these. People keep calling Arteta out for playing Partey at right back, because Arteta clearly doesn't want to play Partey at right back. He showed that against Tottenham when Partey played in his best position, and Timber moved across to right back. He had the options. Against Villa, he didn't have any options. He clearly doesn't trust Kivior to start a game against certain opposition. So the only option he's got, if he wants to keep on playing the same way, is to put Partey at right back. I don't think it works. I don't think it's our best formation. And Simon's right. Why didn't we play Kivior or Zinchenko? We did have options over on the bench. I don't think he trusts Kivior to start, and I don't know what's happened with Zinchenko. I mean, Tierney's even getting a run out before Zinchenko now. And if we'd have needed an option, it would have been my suggestion that we actually played Tierney there, because Tierney's more of a defensive, proper defender, isn't he?
Zinchenko he plays centre half. He can play centre half for Scotland, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Zinchenko likes to bomb forward and play all over the park. Kivior, we're still not sure about. We know he's not quite top quality yet. If I'd have had to choose someone that allowed Partey to play in midfield, I honestly would have suggested Kieran Tierney, because he's a proper defender. He's a proper defender that defence comes first. And in that situation, playing out of position, playing as a defender, I think that would have been really important. But he didn't, Ferg. He didn't. He went with what he thought was best, just he has all season. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And I think deep down, quite a few of us knew that we were going to struggle, Ferg.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that were the options, I didn't even actually consider Tierney at all. I don't really consider him really in the squad overall. But I didn't consider him. But that would have been a good shout. But could you have had him on the left and then but Gabriel on the right? We had two with Timber playing centre half. You got two left-footed centre backs, which would have been the same if you had Tierney there as well. So probably wouldn't have made that much of a difference. And Partey was slightly at fault for their first goal. Andrew, can you see any other alternatives in the greater squad, even maybe down into the academy? I don't know how deep you look as an alternative right back cover. Ben White's not far away. We got 7 players out, I think, in a minute, 8 players.
He's the main man, isn't he? I mean, he's got to be, when he comes back, the whole right side just completely changes. He's the missing link. But I completely agree with Trev. Why not put Tierney in that place? Why not give him a go? I'm certain he was playing right back for Scotland when he pulled his hamstring. When he was doing that, so he's definitely played that role before. But it just would have given us better options. I mean, I don't know. Could can Lewis Skelly swap? Can they move over? Can they just cause problems? There's got to be. We're saying there's got to be a solution. We've got to trust Arteta in what he does. He knows that squad better than anybody. We've just got to make sure that when he does put those players out, that we do our bit and support them. But it's just frustrating, isn't it, that we know that we've got better players in the wings that can go and play in that position.
Yeah, as Simon said, we just sacrificed our most consistent midfielder by playing him as a fullback as well. So it is.
I agree with Simon. I agree with Simon, Ferg.
That tackle wins.
I think with Partey in midfield, we probably beat Aston Villa. I really do think he makes that much difference. I agree with Simon. But the thing is, I don't want Kivior at right back, so no. What else? It's a 6.
Well, you could have put Timber at right back, and you could have probably played Kivior as centre half. But he's a left side of centre half again.
Maybe he didn't like him against. Maybe he didn't like Kivior against Watkins' pace because he shifts that lad, doesn't he? He does shift it. Kivior's not the quickest fella on the planet. I don't know. All I'm going to say is, though, once again, and people are going to give me a bit of grief here and say I'm making excuses, but as far as I'm concerned, injuries cost us, and obviously our lack of a striker. We scored 2 goals, which was good, with a striker with the chances we created, because we played all right again. We probably score another 2, I think.
This is the game again. A game that Trossard had a fantastic game in. He was provider in both of the goals. The first goal was on 35 minutes, and we earned a well-deserved first half lead via Martinelli, who Trossard put in, and it was even sweeter. Andrew, when you could see Martinez scrambling, and it came from the referee's watch.
But do you know what? Does it get any better than that? Does it? It was that look. I love that pause where you're like, "That's gone in," and then you're like, "No, it hasn't." And then all of a sudden, the ref points to his watch, and then points to the centre, and then it all erupted again, didn't it? So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's a real shame for him to put it into his own net, wasn't it, and to fumble it. So I was not gutted for the bloke at all.
Trevor, did you giggle just a little?
What, when that happened?
Of
course I did. Of course I did. I was over the moon. But it's a goal, isn't it? For me, it's black. It really is. That's one bit of technology that has worked and taken away all doubt. It's the one bit of technology that's actually worked for me. It's made whether the ball's crossed the line or not black and white. There's no error of judgment anymore. The ref gives a goal and then they'll show you the replay, and I've not seen them get one wrong yet. Have you?
No.
No, I don't think there has been one wrong since. Dan's point there about Kivior would have been ripped apart by Watkins, I agree. We didn't draw because of the midfield or because Partey was at right back. We drew because of we switched off twice, schoolboy errors. I agree with you to a certain degree, Dan, but to be honest, one of those schoolboy errors was probably down to Partey being at right back because he wasn't able to cover that situation. So if Partey was in the midfield, I think he would have dealt with the situation with Tielemans. And he probably would have dealt with the situation possibly with Ollie Watkins, but it was just a great strike. There wouldn't have been as much space for them. So in that case, but definitely agree that I think Watkins would have ripped Kiwior new when he doesn't have the pace. Trevor, 55 minutes in, Trossard set up our second break, and Kai Havertz put us 2-0 up. And the place went mad. The Kai Havertz song went round and round and round. It was absolutely brilliant for all the reasons that we talked about earlier on and last week as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't dwell on it because some people have said some really nice words, but I'm still a bit embarrassed about that. I'm 60 odd years old and I went steaming into a crowd of young lads, and that's not on. It's not acceptable. The reasons were right, but the actions were wrong.
Nor is it acceptable for somebody in that crowd to hit somebody else unprovoked.
Yes.
We'll just leave that there.
Yeah.
Move on.
Leave it there. Yeah. Where were we?
Trossard sets up Kai Havertz and the stadium erupts. We're 2-0.
I was over the moon. I was singing the Kai Havertz song for 10 minutes. I didn't stop. It was just, I was so pleased that he got that goal. I was so pleased. It's just perfect. Well deserved. And before people say, oh, you're going over the top about him, I know that Kai Havertz isn't our striker answer. I know that, right? I'm not stupid. We need an out-and-out striker. But with a lack of one, Kai Havertz has done his absolute best in my book. And he'll get my support all season if we don't sign a striker. And I'm over the moon that he scored again. Don't ask me about the last one, though.
Well, we are going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. I'm just actually trying to get a video on there. Let's talk about. So I think we've covered Tielemans. Got them ahead with a header. He got ahead of
Marino, wasn't it?
You know what? Yeah, he got ahead of Moreno. He headed Aston Villa back in contention with made it 2-1, and then 68 minutes later, a really smart finish from Ollie Watkins, a great shot, came off the underside of the bar, and it went 2-2. How were you feeling then, Andrew? Were you worried that they were gaining in ascendance? Were you annoyed that we type of got complacent, I felt, and didn't push on for that third ahead of those two goals?
I couldn't quite believe what I was watching, if I was honest, because I'm just thinking, when we're 2-0 up, I'm thinking, yes, happy days. We'll go at 3. It'd be nice for him to keep a clean sheet. It'd been great just for us to have that bit of confidence back. But it just seemed to all go wrong. And, I'm going to point it back into the midfield again, because those 2 goals came from us not pressing in the midfield. We've let them go through. And again, we know why. I'm not going to mention it. We've done that to death. But it's such a, we deserved out of that goal, out of that game, but we shouldn't have been in that position. We should have been long gone. We should have been 3-4 up by that point. And, if we'd have had someone to put the ball away, like a number 9, then we potentially would have been. But it was really frustrating, because no way did we deserve, for them to get that. And I just think it's two errors, which unfortunately have cost us, and it's becoming a bit of a story, isn't it?
I like Steve-O's comment on there that you just put up, Trev. He loves Kai. He seems to have properly integrated into our DNA. He loves our fans, our club. Just as Trev said, he will be singing and blowing his trumpets for him till the end of the season. He really has found his home at the Arsenal, Trevor, hasn't he? I think whatever Arteta did when he scored the penalty at, I think it was Brentford last season, and Arteta brought him to the crowd, and the crowd embraced him, and then his song "The 60 Million Down the Drain" came. He's absolutely loving it. He was never felt as welcome at Chelsea, I don't think. Do you?
No, he wasn't made. He went for a bit of a torrid time at Chelsea, didn't he? They didn't take to him at all, and he certainly has settled in. Russ's comment here that we deserve to hear both sides of the story. Russ, I absolutely agree. Kai should not be the first choice out-and-out striker for our club. But it's what we've got. It's what we've got, mate. We've not bought, and that's what we've got. So we have to live with it. And while we're living with it, he's going to get my full support. Every ounce of breath is going to support him. So, I agree, Russ, but I'm looking at the other side of the coin as well, mate. Right, what did you ask me, Ferg? I've forgotten now.
Well, we're going to get onto that point. I just said, like, that he's Kai's got the Arsenal DNA running through him. He seems to be enjoying his time at Arsenal. But let's get to 87 minutes. Havertz, Moreno has a great shot, and I don't know if it's going slightly wide or if the keeper's going to have it covered or not. But it takes a touch off Havertz and goes into the back of the net. And I'll show you the still first of all. So on this still, you can see there that the ball is about to touch his right arm, but that's after it comes off his midriff. But before that, it touches the underside of his elbow on his left arm. So it catches both arms at some point. I feel, and I think I'll ask you guys, but I feel that it was unfortunately correctly adjudged to be a disallowed goal. But I also feel that the law is an absolute arse, because if he was down at the other end and that was Villa shooting and it came off a defender in the exact same way, because of the positioning and the shape of his arms within his body frame, they're not in an unnatural position, a penalty wouldn't be given against them. So why is a handball at this end of the pitch and not a handball at the other end of the pitch? Complete joke. Andrew?
But you've hit the nail on the head there, Trev. That is, in all day long, that's a goal for me. That is, when you watch it back and you see it, you can see the ball hit his midriff. He's in that position and he turns to be, look, there, that's not, and he's got his arm tucked in. His elbow is tucked into his side. So he's not deliberately gone to play the ball. He's actually gone to move, but he said she hit him and gone in. And, we're going to see that again in the next few weeks, and that's going to be given as a goal. And that's what is going to be absolutely infuriating, because how many times, again, did we see Villa players kicking the ball away? No yellow card. How many times did we see Villa players delaying the game? Martinez, was it 1 minute and 7 seconds he took to take a goal kick at one point? And the referee's just waving to him to do this. It's just shite.
Trevor, I think Simon's got a point as well down the bottom. At the end of the day, we were 2-0 up.
I think Simon's got a very, very big point there. We shouldn't be giving away 2-0 leads at home to a side like Aston Villa, and we did. Whether it was injuries, whether we stopped playing, we will never know. But we gave it up, and we shouldn't be doing that. As for the goal, it was really interesting, because I've actually got no problem with it being given handball, because the referee has applied the rules of the game, right? The laws are the rules of the game. I don't agree with the laws of the game saying that. I don't agree with it at all. It should never be a handball. But the laws of the game at the moment say he's got to give it. So I'm not going to. We can't say anything about the ref. He's played as the laws tell him to do. The interesting thing is that still you've got there, Fergus. She's part of a very short clip from that same angle, and it's a bit of an illusion. It's a bit of an optical illusion, that clip, and I can really understand why people are seeing it both ways, right? Because I could not see that handball for about 10 hours after the game. I played it back and I played it back and I played it back. I could not see that handball. But what you need to do, right? No, not from there. The other side, Ferg. What you need to do, right?
Yeah, I got rid of the photo. I'll bring it back up. I got it.
Watch that clip back, right? And instead of looking at the ball or the arm, look at his belly, right? And if you're looking at his belly, it actually looks like the ball's come off his belly, right? But if you just change your focus ever so slightly and look at his right arm, it clearly comes off his right arm, It really does. It's a bit of an optical illusion. It depends what you focus on as the watcher, because I didn't get it for ages. I was talking to Princess Guna, Amanda, and she didn't get it for ages. But suddenly I saw it. So, yeah, it's a right optical illusion. I'm not happy with it. Absolutely agree with Andrew. It shouldn't be handball. Unfortunately, the laws of the game say it is.
Thing is, we've got to start controlling the controllables, haven't we? I said this to you earlier, Ferg. With what's in our control, we don't let that ball go over the top into Watkins. Marino gets a tackling on the header on Tielemans, and we shut up shop and we defend a 2-goal lead at home, which we shouldn't be conceding 2 goals for. So, for me, I completely agree. We shouldn't be talking about the penalty, because the game should have been done and gone by then, and we should have been dead and buried. But unfortunately, we are talking about a decision which has probably cost us points. But we've also got to then look at what we've done, which is we've not controlled what we can do.
We failed to win a Premier League game at home in which we've led by 2 or more goals for the first time since October 2019 when we drew 2-2 with Palace, and we've won 46 of them previously when we're 2 goals up. We've dropped 12 points from a winning position in the Premier League this season, which is the most in a single campaign since 2019-2020 when we when we had dropped 21 points. Trevor, I know Liverpool, they won their game, luckily, at Brentford.
Stop making me laugh, because when I'm laugh, it makes me cough and I'm in a mess. But you really need to write your notes in big capital letters, because twice tonight you've had your head up your backside trying to make head nor tail of them, mate, I'll tell you.
Mate, I'm dyslexic as hell. I'm trying to read anything out loud is nigh and impossible for me. You know that. You've been doing this long enough with me. I always cock up everything. That's my job. But people talk about like Liverpool got 2 late goals against Brentford. They were really hanging on and they really struggled. And whilst they have a great squad and they've got a lot more depth than we have, and they haven't suffered from the injuries that we've had, I think that's standing them in good stead. That was the first game they won in 6. People are on about it's over, that you might as well just give the title race to Liverpool right now. There's 16 games to go. Is it done?
No. Definitely not.
It's a silly question. It's a silly statement. Not from you, Ferg, from people that make it. The season isn't over until the last ball is kicked in the last game where we can possibly win it, right? Stranger things have happened. I must admit, I was impressed with Liverpool at the weekend. I didn't think they'd go to Brentford, who are a very good side at home, only beaten by us, I think, this year, and get a result. But they did. They carried on, and it was just sickener when they score in the last minute and then injury time like that. And it is an absolute sickener, but it's far from over. Far, far from over. We ain't doing ourselves any favours at all, the Arsenal. We really aren't. But it isn't over. You don't be defeatist as an Arsenal fan and think it's over. Be hopeful. And it is about hope now, if I'm honest. Not expectation. It's about hope. Don't be defeatist. Be hopeful and give the lads all the support we possibly can. Every ounce of your breath. I do. I think that's how I caught me cold, taking my shirt off. It was about -7, wasn't it? And I'm walking around at 60 odd years old with no shirt on. People asking me, can I take a picture of your tattoos? And I actually remember to pull my trousers up this time, Ferg, so the old manhood ain't hanging out down below.
It was cold though, Trev. Right, listen, let's go on and look at what we got coming up on Wednesday night. We have Arsenal versus Dynamo, GNK Dynamo, Dynamo Zagreb, as we would call them ourselves. Dynamo are 3rd in the domestic league and 24th in the Champions League. Arsenal are 3rd. If we just have a look at this league on here, you will see Arsenal are 3rd with 13 points. There's quite a few on 13 points. The remaining 6 in the top 8 are all on 13 points. But we've got the best goal difference. A win here should see us, well, we're qualified for sure, but should see us qualify in the top 8, which is imperative and key that we do so, because that will free up some time where we can have some recovery for those injured players, and we won't have 2 extra games, and it will save Trevor some money because he won't have to fly to some random place in Europe. If we look at GNK Dynamo, or Dynamo Zagreb, they're 24th on 8 points, -5 on goal difference. So let's have a look at what other stats we've got. They've qualified for the Champions League proper with victories over Karabakh. They won 2, but in their league status, they lost 9-2 to Munich. They lost 3-0 to Dortmund. And they've drawn to Monaco 2-2 and Celtic 0-0. They've won against Bratislava away from home and Salzburg away from home, 4-1 and 2-0 respectively. It looks like they can do something away from home, Trev. They've only won 3 out of 10 in the last 10 games in all competitions. Are you worried about this side at all?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest. I think that we will get a comfortable win. I honestly think it's possibly up there. Could be called the most important game of our season so far, for reasons which I'll now explain. Firstly, if we win it, I think we will probably be guaranteed top 8, which means we can rest a few for Girona away. Then the break comes, the international break comes pretty soon, and it gives us a chance to get some people back on their feet. And it also means we don't have to play another game in February, which is really, really important, because think about it, right? Not only have we been loused out with injuries, and I even saw some people today saying we shouldn't be using injuries as an excuse. Well, of course we should be using injuries as an excuse. Our best players aren't available, and we've had 9 games of football to play in January, right? 9 games, more than 2 a week, right? And it's caught up with us. I'm sure it's caught up with us. People will come back at me and say, yeah, but we need a striker. We need a striker. Absolutely, we need a striker. But it's caught up with us. And it's caught up with us because not only have we had to play these 9 games, Arteta can't really rotate, can he? Because he's got no one to rotate with, because he can't take his best players off after 60 minutes like he sometimes does and give them a break, give them a nice break, because he's got no one on the bench to bring on in those positions. So that for those reasons, I think that the game against Girona on Wednesday night is extremely important. I want him to put his strongest side out, put Girona to bed. Hopefully we'll wake up on Thursday morning and the Super League table will show that we're safe in the top 8, right? And then we can take it easy in Girona, get the break, the international break under our belts, and hopefully start looking a different side, get our players back.
It's the first game that Zagreb will have played in 2025, Andrew. The last competitive game was on December 22nd, which they lost. It saw the departure of their manager, and now they've got Fabio Cannavaro, the Ballon d'Or winner and the World Cup winner, who was appointed on the 3rd of January. Is that rest going to play into our hands, or could it play into theirs? Who knows?
You don't know, do you? I think I completely agree with Trev. I think we just got to go for the strongest team. Let's go out. Let's get it done. If we're 3-4 up with on the hour mark, then let's make the changes. But let's get the game done and won. For me, this could be. I think there's something coming where we're going to score an absolute hatful of goals. It's just all going to start clicking again, and I think this could be it. This if we can really get our legs up now and start putting some balls away and build that confidence in front of goal, then bring it on, because we've got all those games to come in the league, and we are going to go all the way, and we are going to challenge them, we are going to push them all the way, and we will beat them at Anfield. So we'll do it.
It's just one other thing I want to add, Ferg, if you don't mind, mate. Drifting slightly, but still on this game. I've seen some photos of tickets available on the ticket exchange for Wednesday night today, and there are so many tickets available, it's unbelievable. Even the bots aren't buying the tickets. But the fact of the matter is, my thoughts, I don't know what other people's are, I'd be interesting to know, is that we've got 5 home games in January, the month after Christmas, right? The month after the most expensive month of the year, we've got 5 home games, right? Football teams have set their own prices. Arsenal fans haven't set the prices. Premier League clubs have set their own prices. And when you're playing 5 home games in a month, the month after December, people are going to struggle. People are going to really struggle, right? And I understand that. And football teams have got to understand that. It'll be no good.
Trev, it's 6.5 weeks by the time we get paid. Like, Andrew works for the same firm as I do. By the time we get paid, it's going to be 6.5 weeks. 5 games in January and 3 in 6 days. It's just ridiculous.
I've got Theo a ticket for each one, and then all of a sudden you've got travel train down as well, there and back. Even though we do sneak into first class every now and again, Trev, thank you. But it's a really big month. And I was determined to make those 3 games, and I was just like, I'm going to have to substitute one of them because I'm done.
I just want to pick Henty. Henty loves picking me up. I love Henty, very knowledgeable lad. I love reading his social media posts. But we didn't say that it guarantees us a place. I said it should guarantee us a place. It could and it should guarantee us a place, Henty. there's lots of teams on the same amount of points, I know, but what you got to remember, there's going to be quite a few teams win and quite a few teams lose on 13 points. So hopefully that becomes the dividing line for top 8 and bottom 8. Fingers crossed. So we're not saying we guarantee.
I think most of the pundits say a win should more or less guarantee it. But it's really interesting because it's the first time around with this league format. I know you keep on saying the European Super League by the back door. What's your thoughts on the format then? Now that we're coming towards the end of it, Trev?
I honestly think it's too much football, Ferg. I honestly think it's an extra away game, right? In the in this group stage, then there could be another away game if you don't finish top 8. Then you've got quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. So you're going to end up. People just can't afford it. I'm going to go try and get to them all this season as far as we can. But next season, I'm going to have to tighten my boots a bit. You know, I love going to the football, you know, but they can't keep. They're draining money out of us. We talked about it just now, and then we hear of players getting £500,000 a week for 9.5 years, £500,000 a week for 9.5.
Did you think that was funny? That was a 114-month contract against 115 charges. It was almost like a finger up to the FA, wasn't it?
Ferg, listen, son, right? I couldn't find anything funny at all. I honestly found it nauseating that a football club, and there'll be more that follow, will pay someone that amount of money, 140 odd million, right, pounds, will pay someone that sort of money. Yeah, next year they'll probably put my season ticket up by 5%. You know, pennies compared. If a football club can afford to pay £500 million per week, they can afford to let the fans in for a fiver and pay that footballer £499 million a week instead of 500 and let the fans in for a fiver.
With the TV money and everything else, they don't need the gate receipts. And what they could do is they could give you I've said this before, what they do is they charge you £1,000, say, for our season tickets, and then they give you half your money back if you attend all the games or whatever. You know, I think there should be some sort of they don't we're just getting, as Lyle says, we're getting squeezed left, right and centre. The squeezing.
Lyle's right, mate. Lyle's right. I mean, we don't have to buy the merchandise. I get that. But it's like,
well, that's why they brought the ballot in, because they'll get people who will buy the merchandise, because they're day trippers who haven't been for years, and they'll bring their kids. And
I mean, I could save Andrew some money straight away. He just needs to stop travelling first class, get his arse back in second class, and save a few
in steerage where you belong.
It doesn't cost me. I would just sneak in, say, "Excuse me, my mate's down there. Can I go and sit and go? Yeah, go on then, thanks."
Andrew, that's twice tonight you said things on here you shouldn't say. It's not. Unbelievable.
Sorry, mate.
So some interesting facts before we close up on this. I don't think we've got much choice on squad rotation. We have what we have. But Gabriel joined Zagreb on loan from LOSC Lille in 2018. He played for their second team, and he made one solo appearance for the first team and a defeat for them in April 28th, 2018. And Saliba and Pierre Gabriel played together at Saint Etienne between 2016 and 2018. Some interesting thoughts. Do we want to do score predictions on this one then? I'm thinking a clean sheet and 2-0.
Looking at the amount of teams that are all on the same points in that Super League, I was going to say I'd take a scrappy 1-0, but I'd like us to score 4 or 5 goals. And then if 8th or 9th place is decided on a bit of goal difference, then that'll put us in a good place. So I'd take a win. I'd like to see a few goals to get the goal difference nicely up there. It's Andrew's just put a really interesting point in our private chat. We have a private chat, people, and Andrew just put a really interesting, and it's a point that I raised after the game.
Before you go into that, we will talk about that. I was just going to say to Andrew, give his score prediction. Bearing in mind, and I've just said it after I've already given my prediction, Munich put 9 past them, and Dortmund put 3 past them, So you would like to think we'd put a few, and you've gone indicated 4-0, have you?
4-0. Yeah, 4-0. I think that's the score I had in my head and what I'll go for because I'd like again to see us put a bit more in just purely for that goal difference and give us a bit of cushion. But to my point earlier on, I just want us to put the ball in the back of the net a few times and just really build that confidence and to push on.
Ferg, put that league back up again, mate. Let's have a little look.
Oh, I've got rid of it. One second, I'll find it.
Sorry, mate.
You know what else? Something's filling up as well.
Oh,
my lordy.
Well, yeah. It is about that time.
Hang on.
It is, yeah.
Nice cold water, Ferg.
Let's bring it over here. I'm just trying to think of something else at the moment. I suppose having a beer on the go doesn't really help the situation, does it, really, Trevor? Let's have a go. Let's share this. Right. There we go. Do you want to take the comment down for a second?
Where I can't see. Do you want to take the banner down for a second?
Yeah. Oh.
How do we make it bigger? How do we make it bigger?
We can go there.
Yeah. So we're on 13 points, right? Everyone from third to 8 is on 13 points, but we're up there on goal difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've only let
you carry on talking. I'm going to do what I need to do.
All right. We've only let 2 goals in. So the point I'm making is that if we win, we'll go to 16 points, probably with a few others. But if we win by plenty, it's going to make it much more easier to handle. I'm going to see if I can take this. I don't know how to take this photo down. What's this? Hang on a minute.
So the top 8 was always 6 goals away from Lille in third, aren't we? So and then you got Dortmund right behind them. And actually, Dortmund, there's a few teams when you look at it, you've got Dortmund and Bayern who are both on goal difference of +9 on the same as us. Same as us. So if they win and they're only a point behind us, so this is why I think it's so important that we go and put a load of goals away just to try and keep that cushion that we've got because we don't want to be slipping into that 24 whatever it is.
I do get what Henty was saying though. I mean, it could be that the last game means something. We have to get a point or something, but. If things go our way, fingers crossed, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Fergus, now I don't know if we can do it now, but Andrew's made a comment to me, and it's something I thought about. And this is what I really. Not only do I not like that we're all having to pay more money to go to football, just so they can pay footballers £500,000 a week, right? What I don't like is the fact that we went to Inter. And we played really, really well, much as we have done all season. I thought we'd boss the game and we'd give away a silly goal. Another night we win that game comfortably. And I would have loved to have had Inter back at our place and turned them over. Nothing would have given me greater pleasure. But we don't get a chance. And I don't like the format for that. I really don't like it.
I'm getting used to this new league format. I don't know if I like it yet or not. I do think it would have been nice, especially like the Inter game was a big game. The PSG, we thought, well, that was our biggest game that we had at home. But PSG were pretty poor when we played them. So we haven't had those big mega European nights that we've had when you get Barcelona, Bayern Munich, or Dortmund or something like that in the stadium. It's probably just by the look of the draw that we've got, but it felt more Europa League-esque. Do you not think, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I do agree. I mean, you want those big name titles. So that's why, when I picked up on Trev's point from a while ago, saying that you want Inter back because it's 1-0 to them, isn't it? After it's half time in theory, so you want to go and get the opportunity to go and to beat them back. But when you look at the teams that are sort of down the bottom, Man City 22nd, PSV 23rd, PSG 25th. I mean, there's going to be some teams that are going to miss out, and can qualify potentially. I mean, do you really want to be sort of running the chance and sort of really going to Club Bruges, a 2-legged game against Club Bruges, or even to the point of getting Atletico Madrid? You don't. You need to be in that top 8 so that we can qualify. So it'd be interesting to see if some of the big names drop and don't qualify, if this format stays for the year after.
Interesting. Yeah, that will be interesting because if you do lose the likes of, say, Man City, if they don't qualify, and then they also don't qualify in their own right via getting top 5 this season, if they will change the format, because they want these big names like Paris, Saint-Germain and Man City and the likes in there. I've completely lost you guys. I don't know where you are. I love Mac, you know that. I really do love a Mac, but I haven't got a clue where you guys are gone. You're back.
Hello.
You're back. No, it's the screens. They disappeared. Trevor will know because he's using Mac as well. So
yeah, well, I just brought us back up. I hadn't lost anything, so yeah. Yeah, to stop playing around now.
I am stopping. Right. Let's go to close then, shall we? Did you have anything to add, Trev?
Yeah, just all I will add is, and I want to be serious for a minute, right? I want to be serious for a minute. All of us are allowed opinions, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you do, we're allowed opinions, right? Some people have lots of followers and people that take their opinions to heart. And I honestly think that if you are one of those people, I think they call them influencers, don't they? As an Arsenal fan, personally, I would consider what I'm saying, only for the reason that it could be to the detriment of players, managers or supporters, or even the club as a whole. We're here to support that club. I would urge everybody to get behind them. We've got our faults this year. We need a striker. The manager might have made a mistake or two, but we're still second in the league. We're still third in the Super League. We've still got an outside chance in the Carabao Cup. There's 18 other teams in that Premier League that would give their right arm to be in our position. Yeah? So let's just get behind them. I can't tell you what to do. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and their right to express it. But just think about the detriment, what it means to our club if we're all fans. Let's stick together and let's get our team through this second half of the season as best we can, Ferg.
Yeah, no, I think we just need to get to the 5th of February, hopefully get to Wembley in the second half of the League Cup final game. Then we have a few weeks off and a week or so off where hopefully the team get out to Dubai and recover and everything else. Right, let's play a bit of this, shall we?
You're going to press the button. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'm going to press the button. I'll tell you what's hilarious. I can see what everyone's doing when in the little squares down the bottom of my screen. And I can see Andrew, the top of his voice, giving in large, singing along. And when it goes, Arsenal, Arsenal, at the end, it's absolutely brilliant.
I couldn't shout it. I'd be coughing everywhere. That was just like, I love that song. It's amazing.
I don't know why, right? But it should be getting weaker now, but the emotion that song brings out in me gets stronger all the time.
I got goosebumps in the stadium.
I don't mind admitting it. I could burst into tears. It's our song. It's our song, isn't it? Some people don't like it, and that's right. They've got a choice not to like it, but by God, it lifts our club, and that's what's important. I love it.
Just a final thing before we go. We've got 262 guys and girls and Arsenal fans watching us across all platforms, some on YouTube, some on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. If you are on Twitter or if you're listening to this on audio and catch up, because we do get about 200-300 people listen to it every week, would love if you went over to our YouTube channel, click like and subscribe. It just helps us oil the wheels. I think we've nearly hit a tenner. And we've been monetized for about think about 6 weeks. So we're not going to get rich on this, but we just would love to know that you like us and you support us and you follow us. It just means something. It's good for us.
Ferg, look at that comment, mate. Steve, I applaud you, mate. Brilliant, mate. Absolutely. We all here know that we are privileged to be able to go to games at the Arsenal, and we know that you guys support the team just as strongly. Keep it up, mate, and thank you for watching tonight. Much appreciated.
Just so you are listening, mate. Steve O'Gunner says, mate, been supporting the club for the last 23 years. Never been to any of our stadiums, but always feel connected to the club. Always there with you fellas, celebrating when we win and backing the boys when things aren't going our way. I say we stick together and keep believing. Up the Arsenal. Perfect, Steve. Absolutely perfect.
Perfect, Steve. Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Perfect way to end the show. Thank you very much. You have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans. Up the Arsenal. Remember, North London is red. Fuck the Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.